Ryan, FoxSportsScout.com here with Rutgers DE David Milewski. It's been a few days since Fresno, almost a week, but are you still reliving it a little bit, just what it feels like to be on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation because my goal is ultimately to come out here and help the team win, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that. So it's hard for me to take any moral victories away from the game. I had a lot of fun out there when I was playing.
Yeah, I mean, aside from, I don't mean moral, but just kind of like, you've been through a lot, so just kind of reflect and be like, man, you'd rather play and lose than not play at all, is my guess. I know that's
it's true.
Tough way, but you know what I mean?
I just feel like that's like a loser's mentality. Like, I don't really take that approach to it. I mean, I feel like obviously I didn't do enough to help the team win, and so for me it's really hard to walk away from a loss feeling good. That's just I guess my kind of take on it. I did have tons of fun. Like in the second quarter, I sat down on the bench after a drive and I just took back and looked at all the fans and like people were heckling us and stuff like that. I'm like, this is just so much fun, to play college football. It's just such a blessing, I told you, like, I pray to God all the time about it, and I just really feel like everything came together. And unfortunately, we weren't able to win, and it really hurt. So I can't really take, I feel like the rest of the world doesn't care that I tore my ACL 3 times. When it comes down to it, like, the offensive tackle is not going to go easy on me because I tore my ACL 3 times. Right. So for me, it's like, I don't go out there with the approach like, oh wow, I've been through a lot. I'm like, I have just as much as my shoulders as the next guy next to me. You know what I mean? Like,
that makes sense.
Personally, I'm really happy I made it through the game and all that stuff. But ultimately, being a team member, this is a team sport. The fact that we didn't win, I can't sit here and be like, yeah, I'm happy I played. I want to win a championship. That's where my head's at. So if I'm not able to do that and help the team, then I'm gonna be disappointed regardless of my play. It's not. I'd rather win and play a horrible game than play a great game and lose.
When you look at your play, what did you do well? And again, I understand rustiness because it's been a while. Yeah. What did you do well, and what needs work? I know everything needs work, but what also needs a couple key points?
The one thing I thought I did well, I think I ran to the ball well. So I feel like my effort is one of the only things I can control. So I was able to, once I identify where the ball was going, just to sprint, 100% to the ball. And I feel like that allowed me to be in positions to make a couple of plays. Other than that, I need to work on my explosion and my first step and like my quickness on the defensive line. I still feel like it's a transition coming from linebacker where you could read and you have more time. So like right now, the only things I can control is my effort, and that's what I harp on myself in terms of making sure that I go 100% every single play, because that's the only thing I can control. Everything outside of that, you let the chips fall where they will.
How many plays did you get? Ballpark?
60-something.
That many?
Yeah, because they had 104 snaps, and I was playing third down, and I was rotating almost every other series. So I got about half the first and second down reps, and then all the third down reps.
What did you feel like after wind-wise? Were you kind of like?
I mean, a plane ride home was pretty tough. I mean, especially because I feel like if we would have won, it would have been like nothing. Like, I'd have felt fine. But 6-hour plane ride after a loss like that, it's not easy on the mind and the body. So 6 hours on the plane, I didn't really sleep much. It's hard to sleep after something like that. So I was pretty sore. We came in here the next day and we had a little bit of a loosen out period, and that helped my body get a little looser. But we're here focused. That's in the past now. Norfolk State now, 1-0 season. That's where our focus is right now, and that's where it needs to be.
I was going to say, let me ask you real quick about Norfolk State. What is it like going to be able to play at home? And you know what I mean? Your first game was 3,000 miles away, so you couldn't even get a lot of friends, family. Types.
I'm excited. I'm actually, in a little bit of a way, I was a little happy that our first game was away, because I could, disassociate myself from everything else and just stay focused on the game instead of worrying about this person or that person. So I think I'm gonna try to take the same kind of approach. Obviously my family's gonna be at the game, stuff like that. They're gonna be rooting for me, but they know kind of just leave me alone before the game. Like, I know they love me and I love them, and but they know I'm focused on my task at hand, and they don't really want to bother me too much, before. But I know they're thinking about me, and they know I'm thinking about them deep down. So I'm not really too worried about that. But I'm just excited to be out here in front of the home fans. Instead of having it loud on offense, being it loud now for us for defense, and making their offense struggle with the noise. So we have a good 12th man here at Rutgers, and hopefully they show up on game day.